what's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Rage of the Abyss and its impact on Yu-Gi-Oh! I think we're going to be approaching another tier 0 absurd power crept Yu-Gi-Oh! And I mean, I'm just curious at this point when it's going to stop, right? Because I think so far, guys, every set that has been released has been like next levels, astronomical levels of power creep that has been just rampant, right? So what am I even talking about, right? So before we get into the rest of the video, guys, don't forget to check out my Metafy if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about the game, as well as trying to improve. I offer coaching services as well as a Patreon, allowing us to kind of connect. I give my students like deck lists, up-to-date ones, combos, everything you need to succeed at the game. So if you guys are interested and want to support the channel, definitely consider doing that. That will be in the description box below. And then, of course, guys, don't forget to check out Supreme Pro, right? txs1.com and use pack 10 for 10% off. We are going to be doing a crazy restock very soon, so stay tuned for that. Definitely have the notification bell on. And, you know, as you guys enjoy these videos, I'll be updating you on when that finally does happen. But let's jump into, I guess, the topic of today's conversation. Well, the first things first, we are going to be introducing a new hand trap, okay? Molchomi Frueros. Alright, and this card is, you know, guys, some of these winged beasts has never been used for good, alright? And I'm talking about you, Flu Underreach players. But yes, Molchomi, you know, we saw that Molchomi Paralia came out in Infinite Forbidden. But Molchomi Frueros is going to deliver, honestly, a crazier impact on the meta game, right? And if you ever thought about, man, I wish Maxi was legal in the TCG, well, now the time has come. Molchomi Frueros is a card that I think is going to dramatically change the way we deck build because of its impact onto the meta game, right? Because this is, for lack of a better word, Max C, but it only works going second. But I'm sure there's probably going to be some sort of way to do some sort of loop that allows us to end with no cards on the board, right? Like, think of like Melodious, or like think of like, I don't know, Pearly, I guess. I don't know. Like, you make SP, you tag yourself out, then you activate this chummy card, maxes your opponent. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just kind of overthinking it. But I do know that this card's going to be very impactful. And I believe that, you know, with 6 chummies in the metagame, it's going to get very devastating. So, I think there's no doubt, no question that Frueros is going to be probably the most hype card in Rage of the Abyss, and probably is going to be one of the most impactful card that's going to be released, right? So I'll definitely keep an eye out on that. But I do think that this card, even though it only works going second, it's going to be a main deck staple because of how powerful it is at helping you go second. Next up, something that's getting support is going to be Lacrima, the Scarlet Sorrows, guys. So if you guys know, Fiendsmith Requiem is able to summon any Fiendsmith monster from the deck, and we are finally getting a second main deck monster to be able to summon, which is Lacrima, the Scarlet Sorrows. Arguably, like, absurd in my opinion because of the fact that it can dump Fiendsmith, right? And it's also a life fiend, so it's a really good normal summon, right? So I do think that we're finally going to be seeing some more like pure Fiendsmith type decks that might be viable, right? Play a bunch of hand trap, play the Fiendsmith cards, any 2 monsters full combo, and yeah, I think that's gonna be quite interesting. I think that it's a really good way for support, and I'm kind of interested in seeing how it's gonna be played out in, I guess, in the current format, right? So now, for example, Fiendsmith Tract is actually gonna be a little bit better now, since you can go Fiendsmith Tract, summon a token, make the Requiem to summon Lacrima. I'm sorry, the Scarlet Sorrow, and the Scarlet Sorrow will dump the Fiendsmith. So Track now becomes a 1-card combo, and we know how broken token generating spells are, right? So I'm looking at you, Hornet Drones. But another thing to also kind of like keep your eye out on is the 6 Samurai cards, right? We're getting a new updated Shien, and guys, I'll be quite honest, 6 Sam's getting a power boost, while it is exciting, is kind of scary. These decks are known for their infinite loops and like their abilities to put up unbreakable boards or just straight up FTKing you. So I mean, although the deck is finally going to get some new cards, I mean, I am kind of afraid. So, yeah, I think that will be kind of interesting. We're also, guys, going to be introducing a bunch of, I guess, what is it, like Mermail / Abyss support, right? So we have like Abyss Shard, the Lantern Spirit. We have the new rank 7, which is Poseidra Abyss, the Atlantean Dragon Deity, which is kind of reminds me of Rise Art, to be honest, because you can slap it on like, other rank 7s. And of course we have like the Mermail Shadow Bodyguards, which is another like huge boost to pull off those like those like C summons and like those rank 7 strategies. So look, I am a huge Mermail fan. I'm excited for Mermails. I think Mermails are sick. I love the day it plays, the way the deck plays. But unfortunately, I can already feel how degenerate this archetype is going to be, right? Hand looping you for a couple cards, putting up multiple toad negates. Yeah, have fun. So that's also going to be introduced, I guess, in Rage of the Abyss, right? So that's going to be quite interesting. And then, guys, of course, what everyone has been waiting for, Azamina. If you guys haven't already watched my one of my YouTube videos where I cover Azamina, definitely go check that out. The new Azamina cards are absurd. We can start talking about each of these one by one, but basically, I think this engine is what's gonna really revolutionize, just kind of like how broken these generic archetype such engines are. If we've been thinking about like the pace at which Yugioh has been evolving, it seems like every new like generic I guess support that they've been printing, like Brave Engine, right? Like, saw how broken that was. Fiendsmith Engine, we see how broken that was, right? These splashable archetype slash splashable engine cards are just like so strong, where like we're just building decks of hand traps, non-engine, and like good archetypal cards. I feel like it's just like interesting. Like, I feel like we don't even have a deck anymore. I feel like like it's just like good stuff deck almost, right? It reminds me of like 2006 2007 Yu-Gi-Oh, where people kind of just put like good cards in their deck. And I think that's kind of like where we're at. We're like, instead of trying to build archetypal decks, we're like, let's just throw good cards in a deck, right? Does your deck have Fiendsmith? Like, yep, okay, that means it's probably a really good deck. I think that's kind of like where we're at now. The next thing is gonna be like, does your deck have Azamina cards? It does. Oh, it's probably a good deck. So I think that's kind of like where we're at. So, of course, guys, the new Azamina cards have really good synergy with the Sinful Spoiler cards. And as we saw in the last ban list, the Stinkers did get hit, but not enough to the point where like they don't function with Azamina. And the Azamina engine are broken down into two different, I guess, bridges. The first bridge is going to be the Azamina cards. And the second bridge is going to be like the Sinful Spoils piece, right? So Sinful Spoils Deception is going to be the first card we're going to be talking about. This is going to be kind of like the one card starter in the deck. It's a continuing spell. And this might make it so that Ogre is going to be good again. So that's going to be kind of interesting. But what it does is it allows you to tribute a monster from your hand or field to add an Azamina card from your deck to your hand. Maybe we can even look into like maybe if there's some sort of synergy with cards getting tributed to maybe get us some value off of like Deception. But the first thing I can think of is like Heretic Seal, for instance, right? You tribute Heretic Seal from your field, add Azamina card, summon any dragon monster from your deck. Seems pretty good. But anyways, what this card allows you to do is it searches for any Azamina cards, and it has like all these like bonus effects. Like if a monster sent to your opponent's grave and you control an Azamina monster, you can burn your opponent for 1500 and gain 1500 life points. Guys, like, when will we learn? Time, like these life points gain effects have never been used for good. Like, people will like abuse it in some sort of way and win in time. And I mean, look at Lacrima, right? Like, I think if we learn anything from these like in-engine ways to burn, it's just not like good. Like, I think that it only promotes degeneracy, and I don't like it. I don't know why they made this effect. Like, who cares? Like, just literally give it any other effect. Like, it's just disgusting in my opinion. But yeah, and it has the effect to like recover itself constantly whenever it's sent from the spawn trap zone to the graveyard. So during every end phase, you can like reset this card, which is absurd. So that's like the first thing. So like, of course, what do you add off of like Sinful Spoils the session, right? So basically, what ends up happening is you're gonna be adding another sinful like you're gonna be adding an Azamina card that allows you to cheat out these boss monsters, right? So there's like a couple boss monsters. There's Azamea Rail Silvera, there's gonna be Muruzelia, and there's gonna be Soul. So they're actually kind of related to the Whitewood cards, because I don't know if you guys noticed, these have like the same name as like the Whitewood monsters. Like there's a Silvera of like the White Forest, and like there's, yeah, and like all of these are like basically like some White Forest monsters. I'm kind of curious what the lore is. I don't really know. I'm like looking at these arts, they look really cool, but I am kind of curious to see how they all kind of like play together. And maybe someone else will make a video on it. Maybe I will, if I can like do enough research to figure it out. But I love the lore. I think they're like really sick, and these cards have amazing artwork. But yep, looking at Azamina Rail Silvera, guys, this card is a Omni Negate. What more can we really say, right? This card is able to attribute itself for cost to negate any card or effect your opponent activates. And guys, there's kind of an issue with this. First, it negates effects on activation, which means that cards like Talents, if you negate, means that your opponent can't play a second copy of Talents, which honestly does come up quite a lot. And the other thing is, these cards attribute for cost, which is kind of a problem, especially with Call by One. But you can't really like do imperm. You have to like imperm it preemptively in order to let your other hand traps resolve, right? Like it's just, I feel like almost we're at a point where like we kind of need the Molchami full roast, because it's just so hard to interact with some of these like being able to put up an Omni Negate going first to like insulate yourself from hand traps is just absurd, like crazy broken. We've seen what happened to Baron, and Phantom of Yubel is like kind of like the degeneracy of like this format right now, where it's just like putting a fusion monster on the board that attributes for cost, which is a big problem, because now we can't even imperm it. We have to like do it on resolution, right, in order to like let your other hand traps resolve, which is terrible because your opponent gets to keep the body, which means they can do stuff with it, right? So that's kind of annoying. And then this card has an additional effect where destroyed by battle or card effect, you're able to just add a Sinful Spoils trap from your deck to your hand, right? So it works with Nightmare Pain. So you can summon this card, activate Nightmare Pain, pop it, maybe search a Sinful Spoils trap. Probably other cards you can like search too. I'm not sure, but it works with Unchained cards, right? Like Unchained cards destroy. So the fact that these cards have effect on destruction is also something interesting to think about. But yeah, the next one's like Mu Rasalago. Reselia, I guess, is like the White Forest equivalent. But yeah, whenever this card's fusion summon, you get to like Rhoda for any Azamina, any Sinful Spoil cards. And guys, what has been a main culprit in the latest set? We know Sinful Spoils, Subversion. No. Sinful Spoils Original, the one that has been dominating the last format, right? Like putting fire on the map. Like that card is just absurd. And yeah, now we have a card that can basically bridge Azamina to Sinful Spoils. So I think this is super cool. I think this is super neat. I think this is like really cool, except Sinful Spoils have been dominating like the entire year. Like I kind of want to see something else. Like it's just kind of absurd to me that these cards are getting more and more support. But and because we got some cards banned in the extra deck, we can easily fit these Azamina cards in the extra deck now, right? There's a lot of flex spots out after all the hits to Appaloosa, Lacrima, etc., etc. So I definitely think that these cards being fit in extra deck is not going to be hard at all. And then yeah, and then there's like Soul Estrion, which is like basically you can target a card in field, send it to the graveyard, destroy it. I mean, those cards aren't really going to be played. Maybe there'll be like another illusion type strategy, like another deck that's going to be kind of played. But yeah, there's like Mo Regina, which is like kind of like the pop 2. I think like those cards aren't really played from what I've like seen and studied so far from like the OCG and like Road to the King. But I think the fact that these cards are gonna be literally dominating the format is gonna be absolutely insane. Yeah, but it's gonna be like Sacred Azamina is gonna be the other card to talk about, which is gonna be the card you typically add off of the spell. This allows you to cheat out fusion monsters. No, guys, we know, and this card, by the way, is not once per turn. So there might be a world where we play multiple copies of this, and the fact that these cards just cheat out any Azamina fusion monster, I think it's just so crazy. Like honestly, like I said, power creep has reached an all-time high. Like I am shocked at how broken these cards become, set after set after set after set. So yeah, enjoy. And then yeah, so another thing that I saw was there's like a dragon hand trap now, Imperial Dragon, the Primordial Dragon. Basically, this card requires a normal summon monster to tribute to normal summon face up, and during your opponent's turn, it has an effect to normal summon a primordial monster, right? So, and whenever this card is tribute summoned, you can apply these effects, right? Which is to negate the effects of all face monster opponent currently controls, and then banish all monsters opponent controls the same type and or attribute as of normal monsters. So, Not sure what you're gonna be playing it in, but I mean, I think these new Primordial cards look kind of cool. Like, I would probably buy a core on release. You know, maybe they make it even crazier. So yeah, I'm kind of definitely excited. Yeah, this entire set, guys, is going to be I guess the premiere is gonna be on the 4th of October. It's gonna be officially released on the 9th, I guess, from like an OTS perspective, right? Like with the whole OTS program, and then the full release is gonna be on the 11th, which is the same weekend at West Niagara. So who's gonna cook up the goo for West Niagara with these new cards and new sets? Well, you guys know I got you guys. If you guys go and sign up for the Metafy and the Patreon, I'll be leaking all the sauce, showing you guys all the combos, all the decks, all the theorying. If you guys are part of the inner circle, and the Metafy group. So if you guys are interested in getting heads into the following format, then definitely consider booking a coaching session or joining the classroom. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for your time. I hope you guys enjoy that little preview, the little overview about Rage of the Abyss. I'm excited about it. And yeah, I'm curious to see where we will, I guess, head, I guess, in this Yugioh spectrum. But personally, the thing that I'm most excited for is going to be, hopefully, right, Mimighoul supports. Okay, this is a deck that I'm personally a big fan of. I love the way it plays out, and I would love to see, you know, how that deck gets new support and hopefully maybe become relevant. We'll see. But anyways, guys, hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.